In this session, we shall look at why labour variances occur. If we remember from previous sessions, we have three different labour variances. We have the labour rate variance, the labour efficiency variance, and we also have idle time variance. Now, why do labour rate variances occur? Well, this is because we are paying our direct labour at a higher hourly rate than we were expecting to do. And this can occur for a variety of reasons. First of all, there may have been an unexpected change in the rate paid. So that may be because of pay negotiations going differently than expected. It may be that perhaps there's been a change in the law requiring more costs to be incurred. It might happen for a variety of different reasons. Now, if the rate is higher than expected, that's going to cause an adverse variance, and conversely, if the rate is lower than expected, well, we're going to have a favourable variance. A second reason for incurring labour rate variances is where we use different grades of labour than expected. So, for example, we might, at certain times of the year, we might have to bring in more unskilled staff. Now, sometimes we might have to use higher grades than expected. Well, that's going to cause an adverse variance because obviously we would expect to have to pay higher, more skilled labour a higher rate. And if we're using lower grades than expected, that's likely to be a favourable variance. A third reason for direct labour rate variances is where we are using more or less overtime than expected. If we're using more overtime than expected, well, it means that overall our hours, the average amount that's being paid for our hours, is going to be higher than expected, and that will lead to an adverse variance. If, however, we're using less overtime than expected, that's going to give a favourable variance. Next, we have our direct labour efficiency variances, and again we have a variety of different causes. We might be using a different labour grade than expected. Well, if that's the case, if we're using more skilled labour, we would expect them to produce or manufacture the products that much faster, in which case we should see a favourable variance. If, however, we're using lower skilled labour or lower grade labour, then likely as not we would see an adverse variance. A second cause of efficiency variances is where we're using different grades of material than expected. If we're using higher grades than expected, well, we would then expect fewer products to require rework. A better material might also be easier to work with in general. So, higher grade material would likely as not lead to favourable variances. Lower grade material would probably lead to adverse variances. A third cause of labour efficiency variances would be where equipment has changed or production methods have changed, and if it's the case that our new equipment is more efficient than it was before, then likely as not we would see a favourable variance, as the labour would be able to produce products more quickly. Conversely, if our equipment became less efficient for whatever reason, we would expect that to have a knock-on effect on our direct labour efficiency variance. Lastly, we've got our idle time variances. Now here there are a variety of different reasons why a company might incur idle time. We might have accidents that happen that cause production lines to stop. Or there might be a power shortage, again, which will disrupt production. What if we run out of stock? If we run out of a particular type of stock, that might mean that nothing can be worked upon. Or we might have machinery breakdowns, fires and floods, or indeed we might have industrial actions such as strikes or go slow actions. Now, all of those would cause adverse variances. When we've been through the different causes of variances, you will have noticed that there are certain things that crop up in more than one category. And this is because they'll affect both rate and efficiency variances. The most simple example is where we use a different grade of labour. Since if we're using, say, a higher grade of labour, we'll probably see a favourable efficiency variance, since more skilled labour should be able to do the work more quickly. But we'll also see an adverse rate variance, seeing as though higher grade labour is going to cost more. So we'll typically see a trade-off between those two types of variances based on just the single cause. Now, our rate and efficiency variances might also be caused by changes to materials used or equipment used. So, for instance, if we improve the materials being used, we will see improvements in efficiency. Likewise with equipment. So there will be links both between different types of labour variances, but also different links between labour efficiency variances and materials and overheads variances.